Okay, we should be live again on the Stop Doing Nothing page. Good morning, everybody. It's Patrick Almond. Today is looking like, what are we at? Are we at the 20th? November 20th, 2019. Doing good with our consecutive shows day after day. If you like what we're sharing here, I need a quick favor from you. Comment below with where you're watching from and share this with your friends. Share this in your group, share this in your fan page, share this on Twitter. Just do whatever you can to help me spread the word, the good word, as if I'm doing gospel work right here. But just help me show people how to do things better in business and life based on my decades of experience. And that's really what we cover here at Stop Doing Nothing. You know, if offline in the real world, we provide coaching to help people run better businesses, better lives, and all that jazz. I'm not going to go into that much, but online, I just provide the free content based on different lessons I learned. So I'm trying to crank out, a daily or a weekly show for you, preferably live, to just give you some quick tips, some quick things for you to apply in your life to make things better. None of the shows are very long, and everything is very list-based, so you can kind of take notes and revisit it later. And of course, all this content is available later on YouTube, on iTunes, on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, on Alexa, which is pretty darn cool. So, like I said, help us out, share here a little bit, and let's get started with what we're going to talk about today. Sweet. Okay, for you first-timers, I always got to make sure I help out the first-timers. My name is Patrick Almond. I run a digital marketing agency, and my real passion here is Stop Doing Nothing, which is a name I came up with ago when I wanted to really inspire people to be very focused on taking action every single day. So everything that you'll see me talk about here is action-based. Do this, do that, get off your ass, motivation, things like that. I'm a big fan of pushing people to do the right things. I'm not a big fan of people just doing the talk. One of my favorite songs out there is that Elvis song, and actually the remix, a little less conversation, a little more action. If I could get away with, playing that song and not getting dinged for copyright violations, I would gladly play that as my show opener right there. Yesterday we talked about business and money. And so if you haven't had a chance yet, go back and watch yesterday's show. I just cover some of the things that I have to remember or some of the money mistakes I make when it's come to running my business. And that show is available on Spotify, on YouTube, on iTunes. Did I say on YouTube? Yeah, obviously on the Facebook fan page. So do me a favor, watch that show and leave some comments there if you picked up anything from that show. Today we're going to talk about self-talk. And the reason I thought it would be important to talk about self-talk is because that's the first thing that you do every single morning you wake up. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, the first thing you do when your eyes open up, no matter what time it is you start talking to yourself. And you're feeding yourself positive things. You're feeding yourself the simple things like get up, put my feet on the ground. You're feeding yourself negative things like, oh goodness, my back hurts, my feet hurts. I can't believe I have to go to that meeting today. Oh, I've got to run 20 errands and I've got 15 meetings today. So from the moment we wake up, we're doing all this self-talk. And today I thought I would talk about, let's say I have a list here. It says 6, maybe 5, maybe 7 of different things I say to myself, simple things I say to myself, mostly within the first 10 to 15 minutes of every single day to remind myself and keep the momentum going. So if you have any particular tips about what you're going to say when it comes to self-talk or the things that you do say to yourself, I would love to hear those. Do me a favor and comment below with those. And forgive me real quick if I'm just kind of doing some things here on the computer to make sure we get the best show experience for people. So just hold on one second. And by the way, for those of you that are listening on iTunes to the podcast later, by all means, please hop over to YouTube and watch the live show. And for those of you that are watching on the live show, if you want to listen on the go, hop over, and get on iTunes and listen on the go. You can take the Stop Doing Nothing podcast. Usually I get up the show a day or two on the podcast. I get that up a day or two after we do the live show. So let's real quick hop on here. Okay, we can't do that. No big deal. We'll do that later. Okay. So the self-talk things I talk to myself about. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. The self-talk things I talk to myself about every single day, I guess is what I really should be mentioning here. And first of all, let's see. There we go. Okay. The first one is probably, I know this seems, by the way, some of these may seem really simple, but the first one is something simple, and it's just hot damn, I'm alive. I try to think about that, or I accidentally do every single day I wake up. I have my alarm set for 4:59 on regular days and 4:30 on days when I want to get to CrossFit at 5:30. So one of the first things I like to do when I wake up is just sit there for a minute and think, hot damn, alive again. Because the brutal reality is there may come a day where I am not alive, where we don't wake up one day. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I like to be a brutally realistic person. And so I just like to remember the very basics when I first wake up, and that's I'm alive. 10 fingers, 10 toes. Eyesight works, mouth works. Don't have any terminal disease in my body that I know of. Room is warm. Blankets on. You know what? Things are not too bad at all to start off with. So I think a lot of the self-talk I give myself in the morning is gratefulness and basically just being happy that I'm in a place where I am. As I kind of was building this list for you, I just noticed that was kind of the trend I have, and that was completely accidental. I've heard before, and I'm somewhat of a fan, even though I don't know it very well, of NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is, for some of you, it's how you live and die, and for some of you think it's a hokey trend, and you absolutely cannot stand it. But you know what? At its very basics, NLP is how we communicate with ourselves, how we talk to our nervous system, how we talk to our body, how we talk to our soul. That's the basics of what NLP is. And as I was building this list this morning, I realized that all of this kind of is in line with that. I have no formal training in NLP. I have no idea probably at the really core how it works, but I just think I'm accidentally doing it. And so I think those of us out there, because I'm sure you do this also, those of us out there who talk to ourselves on a regular basis, we are inadvertently doing NLP or some kind of form of NLP. So just kind of keep that in mind. You may be an NLP expert and you don't even know it. Okay, that was number one. Hot damn, I'm alive. That's one of the first things I say to myself in the morning. And then I go into, again, some of the basics. I really do lay there and I think, I'm in a soft bed and there are 4 walls and a roof over my head. And I think this kind of gets me on the trend of being thankful about things. And I think it's really important because not only am I very grateful I have these things, but it reminds me also that there are people that don't have these things. So I should be damn grateful about the things I do have. You know what? My house is not 7,000 square feet. Heck, right now it's not even 3,000 square feet. But it doesn't really matter. It's a house. It's the walls are up. The air in the room is warm. The power comes on. The simple stuff like I flip a switch and bam, it's magic. Electricity to me is magic. Magic just happens when I hit a particular switch and things happen. I mean, these are just amazing things to me, the basics. The third one then, we kind of get meta a little bit and psychological a little bit. And the third one I wrote down is I have impact on this world and I want more of it. Now, I guess what that means there is I am really kind of stoked and I really kind of am on this mission to make sure that I use the influence and the impact I have to change people's lives for the positive. For those of you that know me, you know I work with kids on a regular basis. So I actually spend time with kids every single week. My goal with them is to basically get them on the right path. But when it comes to adults, I feel I have some impact there because I've been told I have impact. And once I realize that I am capable of doing something like turning on a camera and talking to you, or creating a blog post, or creating a podcast, or getting in front of an audience, which I absolutely love to do, public speaking. And if you ever find a chance to recommend me, there's a blatant self-plug for that right there. But when I have the chance to use my impact and make things better for other people, it's kind of addicting, or addictive. I'm not quite sure. You grammar people can correct me on that one. But it's I want more of it. I talked yesterday about money and I said, I'm not addicted to money. I'm addicted to the results money can give me. Same thing when it comes to impact influence. I'm not addicted to crowds cheering me on and high fives and Patrick, you did a great job. I'm addicted to people coming up to me and saying, Patrick, you made a difference in my life. You made my life better. I'm going to change my ways because of something I heard you say, Patrick. Patrick, you may have talked for 3 hours, but you said something in a 30-second period that completely changed my mindset. I'm addicted to that. I'm addicted to making an impact, and I'm addicted to making a difference, and I'm going to do that for as long as is possible. So that's the third one right there. I have impact on this world, and I want more of it. And by the way, feel completely free to write these down and use these yourself. You can call them mantras, you can call them morning chants, you can call them rules of life. I don't care. You are free to take down anything I say and use it as your own. Okay, the fourth one I have, I am damn lucky for the resources I have at my disposal. That's something else I wrote down. And that goes above and beyond things like having a roof over my head, having a blanket on my body, and having having clothes on my back. That gets to the fact that in 2019, it's very easy for me to do stuff like I'm doing right now with you. It's very easy for me to take a laptop and a microphone and a camera and a light and lights overhead and share a message. I'm lucky to have that stuff. We take it for granted. You use a computer every single day. Your computer probably has a camera on it. But think about what you can do with these resources. This Logitech camera up here I have cost me about $99. This is a Logitech C920 camera. I get asked all the time, what kind of setup do I use? $99, light wasn't too expensive, Yeti microphone, MacBook Pro, right here, all right in front of me. I have several other resources around this particular office, but these things are not terribly expensive, and I'm lucky to have these. I'm lucky to be able to talk to people and have the impact that I do have. Now, I'm not some Tony Robbins or Barack Obama. I don't have millions of people listening to me, but I don't care. I'm happy if 1 or 2 people listen to me. And so I just feel very lucky to be able to do things like broadcast live on Facebook or get in front of an audience, or I do TV work here locally in Oklahoma City. I feel grateful and lucky for every single one of those things. I'm never a guy that feels like he doesn't deserve it. At the same time, I'm not the kind of guy that also feels like, well, I'm entitled and I damn well deserve this. I just feel incredibly lucky that I get to use these things, and I have a voice, and I can use that voice for positive change. Yeah, okay, enough about that. The fifth one right here, if I don't take care of this body, it will fall into disarray, chaos, and sickness. And those are my actual words. And for those of you that know that I'm not a great wordsmither, those are pretty big words with me. So let's repeat that. If I don't take care of this body, it will fall into disarray, chaos, and sickness. That's some other self-talk I give to myself every single morning. Basically reminding me that for me to have some of these other things here, the impact on the world and the resources I have to keep my body healthy. And you've talked about it before, the water routine. After I get through some of the self-talk first thing in the morning, I plant my feet on the ground, I head out to the kitchen, and I get a glass of water as soon as possible. I learned a while back that we get pretty dehydrated when we sleep at night. And so I've noticed that more than coffee, water has an amazing impact on my body. It reminds me very much of the Tin Man. You know how the Tin Man can start dancing? I prefer the TV version of The Wiz versus the stage version. But the TV version has Nipsey Russell in it. On the TV version of The Wiz, man, Nipsey Russell is all stiff until he gets some oil in him. That's the song Slide Some Oil to Me. When I get some water in me, I have a Yeti that somebody at weembroider.com made for me. It's pretty cool and says stop doing nothing on it. But I've measured, and that Yeti is 30 ounces of water. And so I go in the kitchen, I fill that up with try to get it somewhat warm water, and I chug that. And if I'm feeling really ambitious on another day, on a particular day, I might fill it up and chug it again. So I can easily down 60 ounces of water without even thinking about it. But I'm going to say as soon as 5 minutes, and it kind of goes into half hour, as that body permeates my skin and my cells and my organs, I can feel things change in me. If I had some lower back pain, I can feel that lower back pain go away. Yeah, it's probably just lower back pain, but the water helps with that. The water helps hydrate my body. It affects my mood. It affects my energy. I mean, taking care of my body affects so much of my soul, and it allows me to do the other things that I talked about on my list. For those of you that pay attention, you notice I started CrossFit about 6 months ago again. I canceled my YMCA membership, but But going into CrossFit and taking care of my body, as much as I may abuse it, what feels really good is those 5 minutes after I get done with whatever I'm doing in CrossFit. And I'm very thankful to the coaches and the people around me at CrossFit that deal with me, because I'm a slow ass at CrossFit. I'm sorry. Let's not beat around the bush. I'm slow and I'm big and I'm heavy. And in the same CrossFit class where there's people that are, half to a third of my age, that are half to a third of my weight, that are bopping around like nobody's business. But I get in there and I get it done when I'm actually in the building. So my whole point being is if you want to have some certain benefits in your life, if you want to have impact, if you want to travel, if you want to run a business, if you want to teach children, if you want to be on TV, if you want to do any one of a million things in the world, so much of it starts with your health. You cannot take care of somebody else if you yourself aren't at least physically healthy and physically in good shape. That means stuff like staying hydrated on the regular, eating a high protein, high quality carb diet, as much as possible staying away from the bad fats and inhaling the good fats. I'm still a big fan of coffee, but I hear that coffee's not that good for me. But you know what? I have a couple of vices, and coffee is one of them. Getting out and being active as much as possible, getting into some kind of fitness program. Right now we are at, like I said, November 20th, and it's going to hit December, and all of a sudden people are going to get in that New Year's mode and New Year's resolution mode. And guess what? You don't have to wait for that. You can do that right now. If you're watching this and it's November 20th or 21st or 22nd, man, get off your ass, shut down my video, and go join a gym. Go track down a trainer. Go for a walk. That's one of the reasons I love my Apple Watch so much is it reminds me, hey, Patrick, you haven't stood up recently. Hey, Patrick, you haven't done your exercise today. Hey, Patrick, you haven't done this. Hey, Patrick, you haven't done that. The Apple Watch is great for allowing you to not pick up your phone so much, but where an Apple Watch really excels is for those people that want to take care of themselves. Helps you monitor your heart rate, helps you monitor your cardiac rhythm. The latest one I have basically kind of gives you like a little mini ECG in there. It reminds you to stand every hour. It reminds you to move so much every single day, and it reminds you to exercise so much every single day. That's why I love the Apple Watch, because my mind gets buried in other stuff sometimes. I don't pay attention to it. So enough about the physical stuff. This is a quick reminder. If I don't take care of this body, it will fall into disarray, chaos, and sickness. You've got to take care of your body. And for those of you that are doing it, kudos right there. And the last point I want to cover today, I wrote down, is I have freedom of time, thought, location, and direction. And what this means is, when I was writing this down, I was remembering that, I am an entrepreneur. I do run my business. I do travel. I do speak. I do go on TV. So when I have freedom of time, it means that I have set my life up to where, you know what, I don't have to be in any particular place at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 100% control over that. For those of you that do have jobs, God bless you. They're great. And I have nothing against the 8 to 5 lifestyle. But if you have a job, let's face it, you have to be someplace 8 o'clock in the morning. And if you get there at 8:15, 8:20, you're not going to have that job for very long, period. Okay, so I have freedom of time. I have 100% control of my schedule. Today I've driven around, I've run some errands, I've had a bite to eat. I'm going to run around and do some more errands, and I think I have one meeting today. But if somebody wants a meeting with me and I'm not available, I'll just say, hey, you know what? Right now is not a good time. Let's reschedule it. So that's what I mean when I say I have freedom of time. Freedom of thought. This is, again, something that a lot of people don't, have, if you will. And this happens more in other countries. I live in the United States, so this doesn't happen so much here. But I can think how I want. I can say that Democrats suck, and I can say that Republicans suck, and I can say that Nazis suck, and I can say that the government sucks. Now, I just said all those things out there randomly, but you know what? If there were other countries and other jobs I had, if I said those things out verbally, if I said those things out loud, I would be hauled off to jail, or I would be fired. And if I said President, goodness gracious, Trump, there's my mind for that. If I said the president sucked, and if I said this politician blows, and I said all these other things, there were certain jobs I have out there where they would say, well, you can say whatever you want, you just can't say it on company time. So I have that freedom of thought. I can believe certain things about other people, and I can verbalize those. And that's probably the more important thing, is I can verbalize these thoughts and not get fired for it. And again, that comes from just having 100% control of my environment and of my time. And trust me, if you've ever seen me on social media, you know that I have no problem speaking my mind. Location, I don't have to be locked down again in a particular location from 8 to 5 or Monday through Friday. And again, this just comes from being an entrepreneur. So there are so many benefits that if you want some coaching on that, that's something we do. And I would gladly talk to you about that. If you do want to know more about what we do here at Stop Doing Nothing when it does come to coaching, I dropped the number right there on the screen right now. You can always call us and text us here at 405-217-4752. And texting works. It really does. If you're at work right now or you're doing someplace where you can't actually pick up the phone, do me a favor, text our office right there, and I or someone that works here will definitely get back to you when it comes about some business coaching or some life coaching. And that, again, is all you'll hear from me on the plug on that. So I have freedom of time, thought, location, and direction. I also have complete control of direction of my life and my business. And this is just something that's taken me a couple of decades to get there, but I have control to say, I want to do this tomorrow, or I want to be here in a year, or I want to make $5 million next year versus $4 million this year. Or, if I don't want to be here right now after I do this Facebook Live, I can go to a coffee shop. I can go hang out with a friend. I can go conduct a meeting. I can go be on TV. I have complete control of my physical location every single moment of every single day. And of course, that comes with some trade-offs. There's obviously times when I have to travel or I have to be at certain meetings. So let's not discount those times. But for the most part, I have 100% freedom of where I am physically right now and psychologically, intellectually, and I have control of where I want to be in 5 minutes, 5 hours, and 5 days. And this may seem somewhat simplistic, but again, there are jobs and there are governments and there are countries out there where you do not have these freedoms. So when I talk about the self-talk that I talk about to myself in the morning, I like to remind myself of the basics. And as a quick recap, because those are the 6 right there, let's cover these again. And do me a favor, take notes or comment below with which one of these is your favorite. Even if it's a recorded session, go ahead and do that. Hot damn, I'm alive was number 1. Thankful I have a roof over my head was number 2. I have impact on this world and I want more of it. That was number 3. I am damn lucky for all the resources I have at my disposal, technology resources, people resources, government resources, business resources. I'm so lucky to have those things. If I don't take care of this body, it will fall into disarray, chaos, and sickness. And I have freedom of time, thought, location, and direction. And if I remember when I get done with this broadcast, is I'll paste this in the comments on the Facebook Live. So those are the 6 today. I appreciate you watching. I would always love your feedback, either publicly or privately. You feel free to send me a question or text it to that number on the screen right there, ending in 4752. You can send me a question about life or business, and I will answer it. Because if you go back to a lot of my other videos, I've done that before. I've taken questions from people like you, and I've answered those, and we can discuss those, if you will. As always, do me a favor, like the fan page. Go over and follow us on YouTube, on iTunes. On iTunes, I really need your help to rate and subscribe to the podcast there, because I'm really trying to blow up that podcast there. And on every platform, on Instagram, you can find me as Patrick Almond. On YouTube, it's youtube.com/Patrick Almond. On all of the podcast platforms, Spotify, whatever, just search for Stop Doing Nothing or Almond, ALLMOND, and it will hook you up with a good search result right there. And as always, I'm also some of the other things like iHeartRadio and some of those other fringe podcast areas, if you will. A lot of people don't know that iHeartRadio even does have podcasts. And of course, I'm on Alexa, which is pretty damn cool. And every week or so, you should hear a new podcast from Alexa. As always, thank you for watching. Today has been the November 20th show. And as always, I love doing this for you guys, and I would love your feedback, and I will come up with another topic to work on. Tonight, I will start working on tomorrow's show for you, and we'll kick ass today. We'll kick ass tomorrow, and we're going to continue to do amazing things together. And like I said, if you want coaching on any of this stuff, I'm pretty softy when it comes to sales, so there's no hard sales push. But contact me at that phone number right there, or message me on Facebook. Most of you know how to get a hold of me. Or text me at that particular number right there, and we will find a way to make your life better. Thanks for watching. Have a great great, amazing day, and we will see you on the next show.